Concerns loom large. Let me first bring you the first top 5 developments. Number 1, you've got 30 lakh vaccinations on Monday, the highest in a single day. 3.2 crore vaccinations so far completed in India. The second top development is that Europe has put out red flags on Oxford vaccine. There are some blood clots that have been reported amongst those who have already taken the vaccine. And this brings us to the question of whether India should halt the vaccination too as far as Covishield is concerned. Now, number 3, people who are testing positive after the vaccine, which is after taking the jabs, that too twice, are on the rise at the moment. Number 4, there are new Maharashtra, Gujarat curbs amidst cases that are spiking with coronavirus in India. Number 5, the centre has told Maharashtra government that lockdown, night curfew have a very limited impact. Three countries have already suspended AstraZeneca COVID vaccine amid serious side effect concerns. The 3 largest EU countries, Germany, Italy, France, they've all paused the rollouts on Monday and were later joined by Spain, Portugal, Slovenia and Latvia. There have been a number of cases in Europe of blood clots that are developing after the vaccine was administered. The World Health Organization, though, has now urged the countries to not pause the COVID vaccinations. They've urged the people to not panic. It said that there was no evidence of a link between the vaccine and blood clots. The Indian version of Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine is known as Covishield, as you already know. Following the suspension of the vaccine by several countries, the central government has decided to conduct a deeper review of post-vaccination side effects coming in from Oxford AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine. As the world's largest COVID vaccination drive is underway in the country, India has nearly administered 3 crore cumulative vaccination doses.
Several more countries have suspended the use of AstraZeneca vaccines as a precautionary measure after reports of blood clots in people who had received the vaccine from 2 batches produced in Europe. This does not necessarily mean these events are linked to vaccination, but it's routine practice to investigate them. And it shows that the surveillance system works and that effective controls are in place.
I'm being joined on this broadcast by Dr. Prateek Samdani, who is a COVID specialist doctor. He's a top doctor from Mumbai. And I'm also going to be joined in just about moments from now with Dr. Sameer Gupta. He's one of the top cardiologists here in Delhi. We will be discussing and allaying fears with them. But the big questions here are, there are increase in blood clots related to the vaccine. Is the vaccine really safe? Should you and I get the jab? Should the common man get the jab or not? Should we as a country halt Covishield? These are the big questions that one needs answers to. And I'm going to go straight across to Dr. Prateek Samdani, who's already through with us. I'm requesting our producers to get Dr. Sameer Gupta as well with us in just about a bit. But Dr. Samdani, appreciate you taking the time out. Most people who are getting the vaccine at the moment are already the ones who are facing comorbidities already. And there are senior citizens. And then you have all these concerns coming out with European Union countries flagging off, saying that after taking the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, one has developed blood clots. Hence, this becomes a huge concern, at least for Indians here, since our viewers are Indians, whether they should take it, they should not take it. And the worries are large because there are some who have already taken it. What do you have to say about this?
Thank you, Ms. Chaiti Narula. So yes, we know the world, especially the Western part, Europe is going through almost like a third wave. The morbidity is rising and there are a larger number of people affected every day. As we speak, India, Maharashtra, and several other parts of India are also going through a wave. And I would not hesitate to call this a second wave. For every rise from the base is a wave. So this is a kind of a second wave. So the only way to fight this rise in COVID cases is 1, prevention by COVID habits, and 2, vaccination. So vaccines are here to stay. I am aware that several countries, especially the last ones, as you just mentioned, have suspended the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine at the moment in Europe. This suspension just means that they need to interrogate, and find out if the risk of thrombosis that occurred is directly linked to the vaccine or no. This does not mean they have withdrawn the vaccine. On the contrary, AstraZeneca is hiking up the vaccine capacity to produce millions of more vaccine. Let me just get you things in perspective. Germany has reported 7 cases of what we call as cerebrovenal thrombosis.
Okay.
That means blood clots or thrombosis in the brain. 7 out of around 16 lakh doses that they've given. That means a rough incidence of about 0.0004. The general incidence of cerebral venous thrombosis in the population is about 1.5 per 1 lakh. So the general incidence is 0.00015, which is 0.0015, which is much higher than even that reported by the so-called vaccine. So I personally feel that there is probably no direct correlationship, and it's not a severe adverse correlationship. Having said that, I'm here to say that this does need investigation, because the foremost important thing in a vaccine or any drug is first safety and then is efficacy.
Safety first, efficacy next. That is Dr. Samdani's viewpoint on this. And since you mentioned about the blood clotting as well, let me bring in Dr. Sameer Gupta, who's one of the top cardiologists here in the National Capital. Dr. Gupta, you have taken the vaccine yourself as well. Dr. Samdani said, of course, you need to tread with caution, but that does not mean that you stop taking the vaccination altogether. It, of course, requires a fair bit of investigation as well. Explain to us, there is a very small, limited population that is getting the blood clots. We don't know whether it is linked to the vaccine or not. What are these blood clots? What are these side effects all about? Suddenly, there's a lot of panic and fear whether I should get it or not. What if I end up getting a blood clot?
I think I would like to reiterate what Dr. Samdani said in terms of the incidence of blood clots and everything else. But let's begin with your first question, which is what is blood clots? Blood clot is something which is formed in the body, which is a kind of a protective mechanism in most people. Like, for example, when you injure yourself and you cut your finger, there is a small blood which gets formed, a gelatinous material which gets formed to stop the bleeding. That is a blood clot. However, there are multiple conditions which can predispose you, so to say, to have blood clots. That means your chances of having blood clots may increase. This can happen in cancer. This can happen in multiple genetic conditions. If you're taking some medicines, they can cause blood clots also. And blood clots in general are bad for you if they happen in a predisposing condition, like a genetic condition, or in something else. Because if they go to the brain, you can have a stroke. If you go to the heart, you can have a heart attack. And if they go to the lungs, they can be potentially fatal. So this is the general understanding of blood clots. Now, what we found over here is that there is that some people are having blood clots after the vaccine, but that incidence of blood clot is very, very, very small.
So do the ones who have already taken the vaccine need to be worried at this point of time? Say the senior citizens or the ones with already existing comorbidities, Dr. Gupta?
Not particularly. If you've already taken the vaccine, then it's fine. Like, for example, I took the vaccine and I just flew through, and that's what 99.9% of the people did, right? They just flew through. They might have had some pain, a little bit fever here and there, but for the most part, people just flew through the vaccine, and that is a testament of the safety and efficacy of this vaccine. Now, you can have blood clots in the general population also, and is it an incidental finding, as we call it in medical terminology? That is this something by chance that you saw, that you got the vaccine, but you also had a blood clot. I wouldn't say that the vaccine caused the blood clot, but it was just found at the same time. Now, if you go back in history and see other vaccines, for example, the measles vaccine or the mumps vaccine, they can also cause temporary changes in platelets and the coagulation profile. But overall, it is very safe, and that's why we use it, and that is why it's the standard of care. So I think it's too premature for us to blame the vaccine. I think a lot more data is required, a lot more research is required.
That's a very important point that you just mentioned. It's too premature to just go ahead and just blame the vaccine. There is a lot more data and review required to know whether this blood clot is a reason it is developing after the jab or not. Which brings me to a very pertinent point, Dr. Samdani, right here. Who are the people who are at risk? If I come to you as a patient and you're a top COVID specialist, if I come to you as a patient and ask you, Dr. Samdani, do I take the vaccine? What is your simple answer? Yes or no?
My simple answer is you must take a vaccine. I think every individual in this country, when their turn comes, unless they have a specific contraindication, should take the vaccine because it will protect you from hazardous COVID or hospitalization due to COVID. So that's the only best way to prevent yourself from getting COVID and severe infection. The other thing also, if there is a little concern about thrombosis, you can speak to your doctor if you've had a past history of thrombosis, if you have a genetic condition that may predispose thrombosis. And as summer is coming up, I would urge everyone in consultation with their doctors to make sure they're adequately hydrated. For one of the common causes of thrombosis or cerebral thrombosis is infection and dehydration. So you also need to have other causes, in control, as Dr. Gupta was saying, and just not relate the vaccine to the mortality and morbidity caused by it.
Dr. Gupta, your answer to that question, whether I should take, not take, wait for a little more data to come out because you're a cardiologist, you're dealing with blood clots, you're dealing with cardiac diseases day in and day out. What's your opinion on this?
100%. I think I treat patients who are very sick. Most of these people above 45 years of age are already identified by the government to come in that category where they should get the vaccine. So all my patients, I urge them to get the vaccine if their turn has come. And I would urge that to everybody else, because the flip side you have to remember is what is the flip side? The flip side is getting COVID, right? And the flip side is potentially infecting your family.
But there are some people who say, okay, let's just get COVID and get done with if we don't have any kind of comorbidities or if we are not in the vulnerable age group. It's just better that way rather than putting yourself through maybe even there is a 1% or 0.1% chance of getting this kind of a side effect from a vaccine, Dr. Gupta.
So I would kind of disagree with that. I don't think that we should have that attitude of let us just get COVID and get over with it, because you may be okay, but what about your family members?
That's true.
And also, I would like to reiterate that there are many people who are the so-called not vulnerable people, less than 45, in the 30s, in the 20s, who may not die with COVID, but they can get really, really sick.
Yeah.
And you have to keep that in account. And there are also this entire different population of people we are seeing, which are called the COVID long haulers. That means that people who are now living with the side effects of COVID in the long term, lung fibrosis, loss of smell, multiple conditions are coming up. You can have heart problems with COVID.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is the right approach to take, that, let me get COVID, let me get done over with. But, you can have long-term complications and you can infect your family members who may not be.
That is the main point here, that both the doctors on this panel, Dr. Samdani, Dr. Gupta, are saying go ahead and get it. It's not worth risking yourself or your family members for that matter, or society at large who you interact with. That brings me to another important point. Stay on with us, Dr. Samdani and Dr. Gupta. The other aspect that we want to address here today on the show is reinfection. People are getting reinfected even after getting the vaccination. My colleague Nabila is going to now walk you through some of these cases that have come up. Over to you, Nabila.
People who got infected after vaccination. Ahmedabad-based doctor, a doctor couple there, tested positive for COVID-19. In fact, the duo had completed both the vaccination doses as healthcare workers, but despite that, it seems like they've caught the virus. Now, a doctor in Solan, Himachal Pradesh, has tested positive of COVID-19 27 days after taking the second vaccine dose. And then you have doctor samples that were being sent to a Mumbai-based lab as well to ascertain the cause and to also rule out the presence of any mutant strain. And on the other hand, we're looking at an MBBS student in Mumbai who tested positive days after getting inoculated by the second dose of the COVID Shield vaccine. You also have a 71-year-old doctor working in a government hospital of Rourkela, Odisha, who tested positive 3 weeks after receiving the vaccine dose here, the second dose of the vaccine. In fact, a retest, however, found him negative of the virus. So we're looking at several complications in terms of a few of those frontline workers who've got the jab. contracting the virus post the second dose of the vaccine. Of course, investigation into that is still underway.
All right, so Dr. Samdani and Dr. Gupta are still with us on this broadcast. Dr. Samdani, this begs the second question. There are reinfections on the rise for the people who have completed both the jabs of vaccination, whether it is Covaxin, Covishield, doesn't matter, overall vaccination. I'm not at the liberty to take names here, but we've got information saying, and this is a doctor couple I'm talking about, that after 2 vaccines, that is 2 jabs, and neutralizing the antibodies of 250 plus for the doctor and for his wife, they came down with reinfection. How do you explain that? And then is that worth it? Is that not worth it, according to your opinion?
I think you've got about a fair point, Ms. Chaiti, and you've presented nice data. Now, let me tell you the natural history of vaccination in terms of immunity levels. When you take and we are going to divide this into 2 groups. One is COVID-naive patients. That means people or patients who've never had COVID. And the other group is people who had COVID infection in the past. Now, people who've never had COVID, when they take the first shot, this shot gets inside. It takes about 12 to 15 days at the earliest to form any antibody. Then it starts rising and peaks around 4 to 6 weeks of the first shot. When you take a second shot at the end of 4 weeks, you get a secondary immune response, and the true immune response comes 2 weeks after your second shot. That means 45 days after your first shot, provided you take 2 shots 4 weeks apart. In a person who's had COVID, the immune system, or what I call as the T lymphocytes, so the T cells in our body, have already recognized this antigen. They already know that this is a party or this is a virus that has come into my house before. So when they take the first shot, their immune response is more robust, almost 10 times that of people who've never had COVID. But the immune response follows the same way.
Right.
15 days after the second shot, the immune response is massive. Now, when we talk about efficacy, let me tell you how efficacy is calculated.
Yeah.
So when they do an efficacy study of a vaccine, they have suppose enrolled X number of people. At the end of a timeline, say about 3 months, they have a placebo control and the vaccine control.
Yeah.
They see how many people have got COVID. For example, in the placebo control, there were 160 people who got COVID, and in the vaccine control, there were 10 people. That means 10 out of 170 is the incidence of getting COVID again. That means you have a protection of about 92%. That means not 100%, and obviously not for any vaccine on this earth, you have 100% protection at the moment. So getting a COVID reinfection is not uncommon. It's not common at all. So I wouldn't be fearful for that. But it does not mean that the vaccine has failed. It just means that you have had protection. And certainly these people who've got a second infection, I can bet they've not got a severe infection. They've gone away with a milder infection. But that is what happens with every vaccine. The flu vaccine, for example, gives you an efficacy of 70%. Nothing gives you a protection for 100%. So I would not fear someone getting a second COVID infection and say it's vaccine failure. No, it's not vaccine failure. It can happen to you.
So that's very interesting, Dr. Samdani, what you mentioned. And Dr. Gupta, does this mean that the intensity reduces after you take the vaccination, and hence all the more reason why India should not halt or take any kind of a knee-jerk reaction as far as Covishield is concerned? Because now you see EU is raising concerns over Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, raising these particular red flags. You allayed those fears about the blood clots as well. That begs us to, this particular question, whether India should stop or halt Covishield for the moment till we have enough answers from the investigation. But as Dr. Samdani was mentioning, that even if you get reinfected, your intensity reduces, then that means it's worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, with what Dr. Samdani said, Chaiti. Now, when you look at the vaccination, what is the goal of the vaccination, right? You have to start with that. What is the goal? The goal of vaccination is A, let's see if we can not get the infection at all. And B, if you get the infection, you should not get a very severe form of infection. And that holds true with everything, whether it is a flu vaccine, whether it is a measles vaccine, chickenpox vaccine, any vaccine, right? So with this vaccine also, what we saw, and when we talk about efficacy of the vaccine, like Dr. Samdani said, right, that we know that, AstraZeneca is 85% or 90%, and Pfizer is 95% and all that stuff, right? So that means there is a 5% chance that people can still get the infection, they can still get COVID. But when they get COVID, the chances of them dying are very low. the chances of them getting very sick from the vaccine are very sick with the reinfection is very low. So that is your goal, right? Not to get very sick. Because I know everybody keeps harping and talking about death, but there's a large population of patients, and I'm pretty sure that Dr. Samdani has also seen them, who get really sick with COVID. They come out of COVID, but now they're living with long-term problems with COVID, or for that with anything else. So it's important for us to remember that and not have a knee-jerk reaction. I would like to clarify over here, Chaiti. From what I understand, it is not the EU which has raised concerns. These are individual countries which have raised concerns.
Within the EU,
right?
Within the EU.
Within the
Yes.
EU. But
Yes.
it's individual countries within the EU which have raised concerns. But for example,
Yes.
Belgium is still giving.
No, you're
them.
very right.
UK
You're
is
very
still
right.
giving
There are certain countries within the EU, perhaps a dozen of them, who have raised these concerns. They have raised the red flags. There are certain countries who have halted as well. But look at the bright side here. The World Health Organization has said, do not panic. And the doctors on the show in front of you right now, Dr. Prateet Samdani, who deals with COVID patients day in and day out, Dr. Samir Gupta, who deals with heart patients day in and day out, they're all allaying fears. They're saying there's nothing to worry about, and hence it is very important to listen to these doctors. It is very important to listen to the guidelines that are coming in from WHO, not get carried away by panic, not get carried away by fear. And on that note, I thank you both very, very much to taking the time out and educating our viewers about this very important topic. Thank you, Dr. Samdani, Dr. Gupta. On that note, it's a wrap from me, Chaiti Narula, on this special show. For more news and updates, don't forget to log on to indiatoday.in or download our app.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.